You should open your mouth a little wider when you speak. The snozberries taste like snozberries. Little surprises around every corner, but nothing dangerous. I'm a trifle deaf in this ear. Speak a little louder next time. Stop, don't, come back. There it goes. So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
I'm Pat Lawlor, and I'm head of game design at Jersey Jack Pinball. I've been doing the coin-operated game business for over 30 years, and I've done an awful lot of games in that time. Probably the best known of which for the collector community is Twilight Zone, and of course the one that everybody talks about that we did back in the 90s was Addams Family. So Willy Wonka is the next awesome pinball in our line, and it's the kind of game that every single person can relate to. The movie is a beloved piece of Americana, and we thought we did a really, really good job of bringing that to life. When we were designing Willy Wonka, and this goes for the entire team, not just the game designer, we were cognizant of the fact that people who don't ordinarily play pinball would be drawn to Willy Wonka. And we wanted to make sure that the experience that everybody, as much across the spectrum as possible, could have a positive experience playing the game, get to see some of the fun things that we would build into it, and it would be something memorable. The type of game that this is an interesting version of 21st century pinball. We've got all of the high-tech things that Jersey Jack is famous for in the game. We have our monitor. We have a small monitor in the game, which is Wonkavision. We've got mechanical devices in the game which embody things from the movie. So we have in the L and C versions, there's a Wonkavator that that has a game-to-game carryover feature, much like games that were electromechanicals all the way back into the 60s, where from game to game, you could lock balls and then 3 games later, someone could steal them and make them do something. Of course, the most obvious toy in the game is we call it the gobble hole because it most resembles a gobble hole from a 1950s pinball machine, but it's the most secret machine. We call it the most secret machine from the movie. It's extremely novel. To my knowledge, there hasn't been a device like this before in pinball. When I dreamed this up, we didn't even know if we could do it. It consists of hitting a target, and when you hit the target enough, the floor underneath the target literally opens up into a hole to shoot the ball into. It's a lot of fun, and it solves the problem of people who don't ordinarily play pinball can immediately see what it is they're going to try and do in the game. And there's no big learning curve in the game. You see it, you want to do it, it's a lot of fun. So we think we worked very hard at this being a balanced pinball machine for everybody. Your kids can play it, you can play it, And if you happen to be a professional pinball player, there's a deep enough set of rules in the game that you can get there if you work at it. Since I started designing pinball machines, I've been a big believer that of two things. First of all, that the game has to have enough novelty that differentiates it from previous pinball. So if you go back in my catalog of work and you take a look at the games, generally I try and put some mechanical device in the game that either no one's seen before or that is challenging to deal with. Take your pick. And you could go through that catalog of games and it'd be pretty straightforward for you to go through and pick out what a lot of that is. I consider the bottom of a pinball machine to be how a designer's signature starts. And so it's a typical PAT 5-lane bottom, okay? I'm the one who did that on Bonsai Run. People told us there wasn't enough room to do that, and I did it anyway. And that's been my signature, pretty much through my career. Often copied, never duplicated. The rest of the game, as far as being a PAT game, it's got its side flipper shot, which I'm a big believer in. One of the reasons I'm a big believer in that is that a novice player finds it, they find it interesting. They find, they don't get it right away, but when they do, they start to have something new they can learn. A better player, by having a side flipper shot, suddenly you're giving them the possibility that the ball's moving in a bad direction. A really good pinball player wants the ball moving north and south all the time because they can control the ball. And when I force you to shoot the ball east and west, bad things can start to happen. And so it's a risk-reward combination. If I put a side flipper shot in a game, generally it gives you some large value for what you're trying to do. And it creates balance. It creates balance in the product and the game and all of those kind of things. And in Willy Wonka, the four flippers just ended up appearing because of what we were trying to do. And it gives you that idea that you're playing inside this kind of weird little world that, what am I going to find here? What does it do if I shoot it here? What do I, there's a center ramp in the middle of the game that you can only shoot from one of the upper flippers that's got a camera over it. Well, the camera's there because it was in the movie. And of course, we have the technology to make that camera do things. So a lot of that just, it came from that and what you want to do to make the game fun and interesting. So we have, in typical Jersey Jack fashion, we have 3 different models that are available. They start out with what we call the standard edition. They go into the limited edition and then into the collector's edition. And of course, as you walk through those 3, there's a ascending price value that goes with them. Our standard edition has been, we've been working hard on what could we do in our standard edition so that we can get some of our games on location with operators. Operators are the front line of being cost conscious. And so we are starting to work and develop very diligently to be able to let the operating community enjoy the games again. It's one thing to say that a game goes in someone's house. It's another thing to say I need another generation of people to enjoy these things. There's a level for everybody. And, there's a level that, everybody can feel comfortable. Oh, I can get this game. Oh, I'd like this game. Oh my gosh, I want the ultimate version of Willy Wonka. And we're really proud of what we've done in order to bring that chain to life. Modern pinball has, like all other forms of entertainment, has changed dramatically from 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 25 years ago. Technology has now moved on, and what people expect in a modern entertainment device has moved on. Here at Jersey Jack, we work very hard to make the games fun. We work very hard to make sure that you get your money's worth out of what it is we've done for you, whether you're just a player putting money in it or whether you're somebody who's buying the game. We really, as a team, believe we've built something special with Willy Wonka, that this game is going to be a breakthrough game where mom, dad, sis, and the whole family are going to be drawn to playing pinball. And so we want to invite you all to come play our game and see what it is it took us so long to build.
I'm Joe Katz, lead game programmer on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory by Jersey Jack Pinball. Well, when you first step up to the game, I think the most important thing to realize is that you want to be collecting Wonka bars. It's a really simple thing to understand. You shoot ramps, you get Wonka bars for it. Wonka bars do a number of things for you. They will play into your bonus. Will be the only thing that is involved in bonus, to keep it really simple, to keep it understandable. It will also lead to some awards that you could potentially get out of the game. So when you first walk up to the game, you'll notice a snake line of inserts that start near the flippers. We kind of are considering that the factory tour. So what you'll want to do is qualify different sections of that line and play those modes, get those awards, with the objective of trying to play them all. The first section of that snake of inserts is the game modes. The game modes of the first four on that list of inserts are typically movie scenes related to different parts of the movie. There would be something like Golden Egg Room, where you would be, having that scene being played while there's a mode running with, shoot this shot, shoot that shot. And all four of them are kind of in the same kind of idea. You play this room, do these shots, play this room, do these shots. So while the modes are running, we will have a screen on the main display that will be showing clips of the movie, kind of trying to present that scene to you. And at the same time, on the Wonkavision display, you will be seeing the rules of the mode, shoot the right ramp, shoot the left ramp, etc. So the Wonkavision screen is a nice large 7-inch display that can be presented with rules, can be presented with some backgrounds. It's definitely a nice large visual cue for someone to look at and be able to understand what they're trying to shoot at this moment, with what rule is running that's the most important at the time. The next four on the list of inserts are Super X inserts, 2, 3, 4, 5, which are playfield multipliers. Essentially, you are qualifying the playfield multipliers via loop shots, and once it's lit, spinner hits will change which one is lit. So the last four inserts you have there are a set of awards. There's a multi-ball in there, there's collect bonus in there, and there's two 30-second modes that relate to collecting Wonka bars. So you have 2x Wonka bars, which for 30 seconds, the ramps that give you Wonka bars will be giving you 2 times the amount of Wonka bars. And then there is Super Spinner in that list, which obviously lights up the spinner for more points, but also another benefit of that is you are also collecting Wonka bars per spin. To start any of these 12 inserts, you want to shoot the Wonkavision TV saucer. That's where it all is. That's where you want to focus. If you have anything lit on that arrow, that's the arrow you want to shoot. That will give you all of this stuff. And you could stack it, and you can have different combinations. You could say, I want to have Super Spinner running, maybe with 5X running, and then while maybe I have a knowledge of the modes, and one of those modes maybe focuses on the spinner, so maybe I'll try to get all three of those running at the same time to kind of make it be a spinner mode. So what you're doing with the Gobstopper Target is you are hitting the target, which will open the secret machine trapdoor, which will basically spin the disc that's below the target and reveal a hole in the playfield that you will shoot into to light locks. So while you're locking balls in Gobstopper, you get 3 of them in there, and it'll start Gobstopper Multi-Ball, which is one of the main multi-balls in the game. One of the real simple ones to understand. You walk up to the game, you see this big target, you see this big Gobstopper toy, and you just want to hit it. And if you hit it a couple times and go into that hole a couple times, you get to play the multi-ball. Another multi-ball we have in the game is Slugworth multi-ball, which is a part of the factory inserts that we have talked about previously. You just have that one lit, you go into this TV saucer, and Slugworth is a 2-ball multi-ball. In the back of the playfield, we have a Wonkavator toy lockup that can hold 3 balls, And by default, the rule will allow you to share locks between players, so you can sort of steal the multi-ball from each other. Now, obviously, there are people out there, tournament players who don't want to do that, and obviously there's a setting for that. But by default, we kind of have it set up by default to allow someone to walk up to the game, see 2 balls in the Wonkavator, and be like, I wonder how I could just get 1 more up there and get the multi-ball. Another multi-ball we have in the game is Kid Multi-Ball. And if you look on the display, you will see different kid icons that will show you the status of each kid. And you can collect kids, and the more kids you collect, the more the multi-ball is worth, the more balls there are in the multi-ball. We also have a captive ball in the middle of the play field that has some inserts under it labeled 1, 2, 3, 4 ? And as you're hitting ramps in the game, you are building up the numbers. You're going towards the question mark. And if you start missing, eventually it will start to count back down. And the objective is to get to the question mark and hit the captive ball. And there is a handful of awards in there that you can obtain. At the bottom of the playfield, you'll obviously notice that there are 5 golden tickets. That is sort of the objective of the game. You want to collect all 5 golden tickets. I think it's better left to be discovered on how you collect them and what they give you. But there'll be some wizard modes in there. There'll be some awards in there. If you collect all 5 golden tickets, there is the final wizard mode at the end of the game. I'm really excited for everyone to get their hands on this game. We've put a lot of love into this game, and I just can't wait for people to experience it for themselves.